Alright, the second little review we're going to do is on photosynthesis. I just broke it down by its roots, light making. So basically it's taking sunlight and making energy. So the organelle that is responsible for this is the chloroplast. So there are a few parts of the chloroplast that are important here. You have the thylakoid sacs, which are grana, and then in the stroma of the chloroplast you have the Calvin cycle. So this is the same equation as cellular respiration, but backwards. So this time it would be 6CO2 plus 6H2O goes to C6H12O6 plus 6O2. Alright, so we're doing the same thing. In fact, photosynthesis is a little bit simpler just because there's those two steps to it. So first, you have water here. Water is what goes into the thylakoid membrane right here, and this is actually where the electron transport chain for photosynthesis is. And what happens is water is split, and that's what gets us our oxygen. So oxygen is actually going to be coming out of the electron transport chain, and then the carbon dioxide that we have going in to photosynthesis goes to the Calvin cycle, and the Calvin cycle basically produces sugars. It takes 2 turns to produce a glucose, but what comes out of the Calvin cycle is glucose. So that is the basic idea behind photosynthesis. It does get a little more complex than that. So if we were to, say, zoom in on this electron transport chain right here, you'd actually see, your phospholipid proteins, or phospholipids and proteins. So if we fill those out really quick with their tails, creating a membrane, you have different photosystems. So if you remember, I don't know if your teacher covered this in biology, but there is photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. So PS1, PS2. They actually go backwards because they discovered this one first and this one second, even though the order is the opposite. So that's what's going on in the electron transport chain, and water is going in and then being split into O2 and H plus ions, which are going to go create a concentration gradient for ATP synthase. So that is a summary of their reactions and processes of photosynthesis.